Hey guys, Paul here from the Complete Personal Trainer podcast. Today I'm going to be talking about something that I hear a lot around this time of year, something that a lot of people say in social media sphere, and something that we kind of give to our clients without really thinking about the whole picture of what it actually means. So this is something that you can apply to your own business, and you can also apply it to your coaching and clients. So what I've noticed every time a new year comes around, people set goals that the year's going to be different, they're finally going to make a change, etc. And there's a lot of motivation that comes with that. A lot of people talk about things like they're going to take massive action and huge implementation, and statements that really imply something quite big, something quite large. So when I hear stuff like this, it begs the question to me that is there a better way to go about doing this rather than making an extreme statement like that? And quick little disclaimer, I'm not against goals, I'm not against New Year's resolutions. I think they're both very valuable. I think they both have a really good part to play. I've talked about this before, how I like goals and how I like New Year's resolutions. I think they're part of a spectrum. They're not the whole problem. So back to massive action. So when we hear a statement like this, we need to question the veracity of it. Is it accurate? Is it true? Is it the most effective way of achieving a goal? And finally, is there any possible downsides and a better solution? So the first thing to look at with the statement, is it true or not? Yes, it is partially true. For a goal to occur, action has to be taken. So this separates it from other ideas like things like vision boards and manifestation, because straight away you're implying that you have to actually do something. And if you do something, you're going to be in a better place than someone who's just putting up pictures on a vision board and dreaming about it. You're actually taking a step to get better. So when we look at this in regards to our health and fitness goals, we can assume that it's going to have something to do with training and or nutrition. So massive action, if we take the words as is, it could look like this. Train weights 2 times a day, 6 days a week. Follow a 16-8 intermittent fasting protocol daily. Eat 3 times body weight of protein in grams. So if you're 80 kilos, it's 240 grams of protein, and hit 16,000 steps a day. That is massive action. So it fits that criteria. What it doesn't do, it's not sustainable or realistic. If you did follow that, and you could follow that, and you could do that for 6 months, you'd look like a totally different person. It would be very hard to do. Your adherence would probably be lower. So the key thing with all plans to changing health and fitness in the long term, you really need to look at sustainability and adherence. So some of the questions like I like to ask are, is it logistically possible? Do you have the time to do what you have said you will? It's a very common issue when people set massive goals. So people who are going to go vegetarian and then start training 5 days a week and start doing this, do they have time to do that? There's a lot of time involved in cooking and preparation and training, work demands. Is it actually possible to do? The next one, is it financially possible? Can people afford to do that? That is a real consideration that people have to consider, because there is a financial cost to everything that is there. And then, is it physiologically possible? So, can you actually recover from it? Can your body sustain that level of calories? Will you actually feel good? Will you be able to sleep? Will it cause injuries? There's a number of considerations there. Then after that, once you've worked out can it actually be done, then you need to work out how you're going to measure that. And one method of metrics and measurement that I like to use is called lead and lag metrics. And that's something that comes from economics. Lead indicators are used to predict future conditions, and lag ones predict an output that's already occurred and how successful it was. So if we apply this to health and fitness, we find that most of the things that we actually look to see if we're successful are lag measures. We never get a result off a workout or a single meal. How many healthy meals we have and how many workouts we can perform effectively are effectively lead measures. So when we're taking massive action, we're just throwing a whole bunch of lead measures into the picture without actually seeing any ramifications of that for a good period of time. We might lose 1 or 2 kilos in the first week, but that's not something that we need. That's not our long-term goal. So it's not the best possible solution there. So what we need to look at here is we can't really measure our success quickly. So it can actually lead to people being put off very, very quickly from this process. So if you're putting in all this massive action and you're not seeing a massive return on your investment very quickly, discouragement will happen, people will stop doing the program, adherence and sustainability disappears. So focusing on the massive action, it doesn't feel like the payoff psychologically is enough to reward the work involved. So a lot of people will drop off there. So there's quite a few drawbacks to the idea of taking massive action. So what should we do with our clients? What should we do with our businesses instead? identify our goal, set our resolution, time frame, other components of SMART goals. So looking at the realisticness of the goal, looking at the logistics of it, all those type of things, they do have a very important part to play. But what we need to do from here is we need to look at the habits and behaviors needed to achieve that goal. So we need to look at the lead measures that we need to get to our outcome. We don't need to worry about seeing all the leads straight away. We can kind of identify what the most ideal lead measures would be that are sustainable. And from here, then we want to do is break that down a little bit more and make it a little bit more realistic for our client's current situation. So for example, if we wanted to gain the most amount of muscle possible in a year, you'd look to weight train 3 to 5 times a week for 60 to 90 minutes and be in a calorie surplus of around 250 to 500 calories per day. Okay, that would probably be probably lead to success. It's pretty hard to say it wouldn't. So for most people, that's probably going to be really hard to do. So what you want to do is maybe set the goal of your lead measures, 3 workouts a week, hitting the calorie deficit 4 hours, 7 days, and try and do that for a while and then make that a habit, make that sustainable, make that part of your identity. Because for people when they're taking massive action doesn't really change your identity. You're not a person who trains for 5 days a week. It's just what you do. You're training right now. You need to change your identity to actually make the goal a long-term thing. From a business perspective, taking massive action and how we can actually grow our business is you take massive action, you'll do something like post on social media 5 to 10 times a day trying to get clients in there. You're going to create, people are going to get turned off by that. They're going to find that it's too much. You're going to run out of good content to provide. It's just going to be begging for clients at some point. It's not really a good way to go about it because you're not going to be attracting the right clients, if any. In fact, you're probably going to be turning people off. A good measure would be what is a sustainable action that you can do each and every day and deliver the highest quality work rather than the most volume of work. The whole idea of massive action also ties into training volumes because with massive action, you do more sets. You want to make sure each set you do is effective, okay? That is a very important thing to do. So guys, that is why I don't really recommend massive action. I think the idea of taking action is super important. A better idea though is to work out what your goal is, figure out all the components of it, work out the habits and behaviors that you would need for that, how they transform into lead measures, so what you need to do to get to your goal. This is also for your clients too. And then break that down to a more sustainable metric for both yourself to follow and for your clients to follow. Thanks heaps for listening, guys. Review on iTunes, etc. Love it all. Thanks so much. Speak soon.